Hi, my name is Matthew Drury. I'm an assistant psychologist and I work for the Isle of Man Government's Community Wellbeing Service, which is part of the wider mental health service. We are putting a collection of videos together known as psychological first aid videos in order for frontline staff to help their patients and colleagues who may be struggling more at the moment with different types of mental health problems. Psychological first aid is the ability to spot the signs and symptoms of mental health and be able to approach them in a particular way that's non-judgmental and allows the person who's noticed these signs and approached the individual to give them any advice that they might know in terms of support services that are available to them. A psychological first aid is not a solution to a person's mental health problem. It's more of an intermediate process whereby an individual notices the signs and symptoms, approaches the individual who they notice them in, and directs them to the appropriate service for them, which is why we're doing this for frontline workers, as it's not your responsibility to fix someone's mental health problem, but if you do notice the signs and symptoms and you're aware of them, you may be able to point them in the right direction in terms of what help and support is available to them. So these videos will look at different types of mental health problems that may be exacerbated during coronavirus, such as anxiety, depression, self-harm, suicide, substance misuse, child abuse, domestic abuse, and different types of stress. The reason this is for is because we also have an obligation to look out for people's mental health as well as their physical health. Mental health is just as important as physical health. If we're not looking after ourselves mentally, we might not be as physically well, and vice versa. So psychological first aid is that ability to notice the signs and symptoms in individuals in your care. It's being able to approach these individuals in a safe, calm, and non-judgmental manner. And it's also about giving those people the right support services so they can go and access them themselves. What is mental health? Mental health can be defined in lots of different ways. Mental health is the ability to respond to life stresses effectively whilst promoting our psychological, emotional, and social well-being. Mental health affects how we think, feel, and behave. Mental health influences how we think and feel about ourselves, other people, and the world around us. It affects our capacity to learn, communicate, and develop strong relationships and maintain those relationships. It's the ability to cope with change and transitions in life, such as moving house, working every day, experiencing bereavement, and it really gives you that ability to respond to different life stresses effectively whilst promoting personal resilience. Now, of course, people's mental health will vary all the time. Mental health is not a set thing. Mental health is very much a continuum, as there are different things that can affect mental health on a daily basis or throughout life. People may be more vulnerable to experiencing mental health, and we call these vulnerability factors. Different vulnerability factors may be biology, so if your parents have a mental health condition, you may also experience a mental health condition. It makes you more vulnerable to doing so. Other vulnerabilities also include your physical health, stressful life events, either experienced in childhood, adolescent, or throughout life in general. Different cultural backgrounds could also affect mental health. Different economic backgrounds also affect people's vulnerability to mental health, as well as their personality. Now remember, these are vulnerabilities. Just because you have some of these things in your life, it doesn't mean there's a cause and effect relationship there. It means they may make you more vulnerable. You can see how coronavirus, being a big life event for some people, might open the doors to them experiencing different types of mental health problems that they may not have experienced before. So it can be quite a frightening time for people. When you see people in your care that may be suffering from mental health, it can be difficult to approach them, particularly when their outward displaying behaviours might be undesirable. We've come up with an acronym to help you approach people who might be struggling with their mental health. Alert will help you approach individuals who might be struggling, And A stands for approach. Talk to the person in your care about what you have seen that you think might be affecting them in an open, honest, and calm way. L. L is for listen. After you've approached the individual, listen to what it is they have to say, and try not to jump in with too many questions, and remove your judgments from this individual as you allow them to talk more as you are listening to what they are saying. E is for explain. Explain the information you know, either through the videos you've watched or through the information you might already have, and just share with them that there are support services available to them, and explaining that information to them will really help them. Reinforcing, which is R, reinforce, that there is help available to them, so you're sure that they've understood what it is you've told them. For example, I know that there is this service available to you and their contact number is this. So reinforce. Reinforcing that there is help available to them. And T is take time. Take the time after an event like this, when you've approached somebody using an alert, to calm yourself down. Maybe talk to somebody about how you feel, but give yourself time to readjust and continue with your day as normal. There are lots of support services available to people. What I want you to do is look at each individual psychological first aid video in order to find support services that are specific to those problems themselves, and that will give you a nice toolkit in order to share with patients and colleagues, should you need to, if you have to approach somebody that you think is struggling with their mental health. These psychological first aid videos are not to increase pressure on you in any way. They are simply to make you aware of the common signs and symptoms of different types of mental health problems that people might be experiencing during coronavirus, and again, giving you those tools to approach these people using alert, and also giving you support services which will help point them in the right direction so they can take care of themselves, as it's not your responsibility to take care of their mental health. We also want you to look after yourself. So check out the video for Frontline staff who may be experiencing struggles with their mental health too, if you need to. Thank you so much for all the hard work you're carrying out during these times. We appreciate what you're doing every day. Thanks.